So what up everybody, Zakar here, and today we're going to be going over some of the builds that I planned out and made planners for Season 4, last Epoch. We're gonna be doing all the Omen windows. All the windows will be broken. We're going to be corrupting all the things. Just kidding. I put like the bare minimum of corruptions in most of my planners, and also like the altars. I put like the bare minimum of stuff in my planners. So these are like guidelines, blueprints, kind of ideas. I have some tech for certain things that maybe some of y'all will find interesting, and all these are minion builds. I think I don't think I have anything that's non-minion or like a caster build. We got Necro and Primalist builds, and who knows? Maybe you'll find something here that you like, an idea. You know, some tech that I'm using that maybe you could help your build. But alas. Let us dive into this. So the first set of planners that I made, and I think probably one of the more promising builds for the upcoming season is Mages, Skeletal Mages. For the low life version, I did a crit, Hungering Souls, and Mortar. Since you kind of go Mortar, since you want to grab the cooldown recovery speed that comes after Mortar here. And this is kind of a simple setup. We're using the Ashwake boots, and obviously grabbing the architects here to kind of sustain, have good sustain with our huge health pool. We have 5k HP. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Most of my planners, I'm gonna try to like cap all the resistance. Obviously, get some good armor. This is okay. It's not that great. Try to take at least near reduced bonus damage taken from crits, and yeah, I mean this is kind of the build, right? This is what we got. So the idea here is going crit for both Mortar and also Hungering Souls. I go the fire route, obviously, and here we're going to be trying to get as much mana as we can to get spell damage from Forbidden Pact, percent spell damage from Forbidden Arcana, and also the spell damage from Revolution and Chaos Bolts. Using Ashwake to convert to Fire Pin or Orb of Decay, and that will boost that damage that we gain from the mana. Our mana pool is pretty healthy already. It's all right. And then if we use Bone Curse on enemies, specifically rare or boss enemies, our mages will hit those rare boss enemies, and that will give us percent max mana via Spirit Battery. Means we can run a shield and help kind of like even out some of our defenses. And yeah, I mean, this is kind of the gist of it. I don't think there's much that I need to go into for this particular build. I think the planners speak for themselves, so I'm not going to go deep dive into all these builds. I kind of just want to talk about them and maybe some interesting things that I'm doing. I also have Crit Cold Mages, which is just a setup doing Necrotic Mortar and converting it to cold and just going cold, and then essentially doing the same thing, mana stacking, except at this point I'm not doing Hungering Souls, which I think is probably going to be the better option in most mage builds, just because you get another skill tree, and relying more on the cast speed and the mortars every once in a while, right? So we spam cast the normal attack that cryomancers have, and then every once in a while they'll be hitting the necrotic mortar. So there's two different variations for you, and then I also have the Profane Oblation planner. I think Pinching Loaf also has a really good setup for Profane Oblation that probably is a little bit more detailed. There's just things that I did on my planner a little bit differently, and you know, you can pick and choose, kind of decide how you want to go about things, but also that have that option. I think this is going to be a really strong option as well, especially as a starter. For most necro like leveling setups, Profane Oblation is like pretty good. You get Profane Oblation, Bone Golem, and Minion Army all are like great for leveling, so those are good. With these setups, I also included kind of like the ability to snapshot. So if you're interested, you can do a gear swap I don't know why this has elemental res, but you can do a gear swap to Lich's Scorn and Lich's Envy, the set gloves, and essentially put out shades and then snapshot your dread shade to give any of these builds 150 flat spell damage, and also give them percent cold pin from int, so you get 1% cold pin per int. Another thing you can do if you're willing to go beyond is you can snapshot Celestial Doom. So you can just put a bunch of mana on this and run like percent mana on your helm and your armor piece, like Architects, whatever, and spam like a high cost skill. So I used Bone Curse with all the mana taken in here you can get, and then just it has like a really fast cast speed by default, so you can spam it and like generate a bunch of mana via Celestial Doom and then summon your mages. So I tested all this on the current version of the game, but those are 2 snapshots that are available to you for pretty much any mage build and or skeletal mage build, and also the Lich's snapshot is like available to any minion build whatsoever. So if you're interested in snapshotting, okay, not all my builds have snapshotting. I just have those as options because I know people are interested. I know people hate it. Definitely needs to be removed, but like, you know, it still exists. I gotta talk about it. And these are options for you, okay? You can also run the Celestial Doom just in general. If you find out, you know, ways to fix your defenses otherwise in mages or mage setups or any mana stacking setup, you can run the staff instead. And as you cast, I think Profane Oblation is like pretty good for this because you cast Summon Skeleton, and as you're casting Summon Skeleton, it'll just give you more max mana. And then when you cast Chaos Bolts, it'll snapshot that mana that you had and give your minions that flat damage or whatever, right? From Revolution. So pretty simple setup, low life on most of these setups, except for Profane Oblation. You get plenty of ward gen from minion death and quite a few other things, and it allows you to use seed. As you notice, I didn't use seed in these other builds just because, well, you're low life, so it doesn't really help you there. But yeah, that is kind of the setups that I have and these planners that I have for Skeletal Mages, but I also have another one. So there's a Necrotic Dot. I think for zombies specifically, there is benefit in adding it to Mage setup because of the new Putridity node where you get double your maximum mana as Poison chance or Ignite chance if you convert, or Damn chance if you convert. And this is really good. It pairs well with something like a solo Archmage running like Possess on Hungering Souls. You can benefit from, once again, the percent more damage, the flat spell damage from both these trees, and then also, you know, the Damn chance here, and Vomit gets a boost from us casting Chaos Bolts for all our zombies. So this is another setup that you can run if you want to do Necrotic Dot. I know there's other people out there doing Ignite setups. I think probably the best zombie specific setup for this will be found on Warlock because of Profane Veil and the ability to get, was it 5% per int more damage, which is a lot of damage if you have a lot of int. And in these setups, I am mostly running regen, so I can run Vessel. So pretty much anything that's dot focused, I usually try to run regen, because you get this node here that stacks with Vitality, and we get this node right here that also stacks with Vitality that gives you more dot damage. So that's kind of what I usually go for, but it just depends on what you want to do. Oh, and then you also get these flat damage. You get this flat damage from both these rings right here. Decrepify, obviously, and we cast Bone Curse to get the percent mana as well. So that is another option. I don't think I have, oh, I do have another plan in here. It's Fire Dot. I did not complete that. I'm sorry. Don't hate me. I thought about it. I was like, man, I just feel wrong doing that because it's going to be better on Warlock. So, but if someone wants to complete that, hey, look, you can mark that as complete. I'll leave it to you. And that's pretty much the gist of this build. I don't think there's much else to go over. It's like pretty simple. Get all your mana and your idols and go regen. Simple. Next one. What could be next? What could be next? We have no idea. Oh, dude. Okay, so we have a we have a Primalist build, and this is something I cooked up last season. Towards the end of the season, I discovered that with the new Wolf node, and maybe this build is like borked now because they changed this to where you only get Howl here, so I have to come up with some solution to solve the crit nonsense. You get a bunch of crit from using Howl, and also you get Aspect of the Links. I'm sorry. Yeah, you get Aspect of the Links whenever you use a companion ability. And so there's like this kind of like a piano key combo that you have to do to like sustain this. But it's really, really satisfying. With this build, you're able to essentially scale your squirrels. I go squirrels. Scale your squirrels pretty heavily without having to sacrifice all your squirrels. So if you look at my Beastmaster tree, you'll see I have this single companion node, and I have this single companion node. I get both these nodes, and in Summon Wolf, since I'm taking this, an additional wolf companion, I have one wolf plus 2 wolves with this node, and both of those will give me double the count in squirrels. So I don't know why I said it like that, but for every wolf I have, I get 2 squirrels. So 2 wolves is 4 squirrels. And it ends up 4 squirrels is better than 12. But if it ends up that this node is borked in any way, you lose out on a little bit more damage, and you just have to run 12 squirrels. So maybe that's something you want to do. Maybe it's not. I have no idea. But it's pretty simple. What we do is we take the node here in Gathering Storm to scale our squirrels with our melee damage on our weapons. We get a little bit of mana so we can max out this node. And obviously the pin. Most of these nodes don't matter, actually, and it's just the more damage here. So all this, our Stormbolt tree will scale our squirrels, which gets a bunch of lightning damage from here. We'll retaliate with Stormbolt chance and get more spell damage here. We'll also proc Stormbolt on hit for a 10% chance. And we make them cold so we can get Warcry crit from here. And we take attack speed here so we can get Lagon stacks from Gladiator of Lagon and using Tempest Strike, and we just make it have no Tempest. And we get our mana back from there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. In this setup, we're going to want as much attack speed as possible. And then also these 18 spell damage for Stormbolt will apply to our squirrels. It gives it 2 Stormbolt, not to you, not to your squirrels, but 2 Stormbolt. So it'll apply to your squirrels. This is more flat for our squirrels. We get a bunch from using Gavel and an Exalted Weapon, as well as mana and chance to shred armor. And we get our actual spell damage for our minions just directly. And yeah, this build is pretty insane because you just get all this damage, like all this melee damage and everything, just applied to your squirrels, which is so nice, so nice. And then you just go strength stacking, a little bit of attunement here and there. Because also, you didn't know, Stormbolt scales with attunement, so you get more flat damage there. And all in all, it ends up the Stormbolts, whenever they proc, will hit for like, I think it's like 14, 15, 16, I don't know, something million per bolt, per squirrel. And yeah, it's pretty much the setup. And you go regen, get a little bit of health, cap your resist here, get a good amount of armor, you know, and just wail at them. Just wail at them. That's what you do. It's pretty nice. And then you just get a bunch of melee attack speed and hope that they can proc those bolts. And then whenever they get hit, they also proc the bolts. I can actually, let me see if I can pull this up. I don't know if I have a video. see if I can show this here. Did it swap over? Yeah, let's go. All right. So this is 3K corruption for Squirrel, and it's a gavel setup. It's a little bit different than what it was in the planner that I showed you, because obviously things are changing, right? But like, as you can see, I mean, it's just like, I don't know if you can see how much damage this is doing, right? This is yeah. He's run around. Hit for hundreds of Ks. Hundreds of Ks. 600K. 500K. 400K. Boom, boom. They're Thor squirrels, bro. They're just calling down thunder, dude. It's insane. Let's go. Yeah, that's kind of the gist of it, I guess. You just smack down everything. And it's kind of funny, like, you get a little bit of range on this somehow, because I think when things retaliate, like hit your squirrels from a distance, it'll just trigger the storm bolt. So sometimes you'll go into packs and it'll just be like right now, it's kind of annoying because they're just like stuck on one specific mob. I don't even know where they are anymore. My squirrels they're gone. But like, it makes the squirrels tankier going the solo companion node because you have the more health now. And yeah, it's just unbelievable. It's really just insane how crazy this is. But like, as you can see, like these are not some baby crits, you know? These are not some baby crits, okay? All right, maybe there's some baby crits in there. I don't know. Boom. Ooh. Smited for 800K. Oh my goodness. Absolutely just destroyed. I don't even know how many more there are in here. And like I think the dummy kill for this is under a minute, or it's like right over a minute. And that's only on the like attack trigger. Like it doesn't count the retaliate, the 35% chance to retaliate. So listen, squirrels, lightning spell squirrels, might have to try it out. But yeah, I don't know how this is gonna go with the node change or whatever, this node change. So we'll see. But I do have some other setups in here like Bastion, and it was a dual wield where I was using Tempest, Maw. But I don't think I'm gonna update those just because the Gavel one is so good, so good. But if anyone wants to and play Bastion, here's an option for you, you know, and yeah, it's a little less damage, but I think it does quite enough damage to run a shield. So, all right, what could be next? Oh man, I didn't know the Primalist builds were so early, dude. Okay, another build that I tested recently was Scorpion EQ proc, and I did it as a spell. So if you didn't know, Scorpion has this node where you get lightning damage per shock. You get 10% per. So it's a good healthy multi for any lightning skills. And with this, you also get the hit damage per poison. Sorry. It's actually hit damage per shock once you convert. And you can use Avalanche. So you can go Shaman. Unbelievable. You can go Shaman. Right? We can go Shaman here. And take all the nodes here, take all these nodes here, blah, 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 everything. And we can get Avalanche, EQ. We can take our one single companion node here. We miss all the rest of the stuff. Unfortunately, whatever. We don't get Aspect of the Shark. Oh my god, I know it's terrible. And maybe this isn't good because I tested the spell version, right? And the spell version was Avalanche, EQ. And I had definitely didn't have Maelstrom here. Let me see what I had. Oh yeah, I had Warcry, and I forget what other skill I had. I had Warcry and some other skill. Oh, I don't know if it was Upheaval or no, it was Tempest Strike. That's what it was. It was Tempest Strike, so I could get spell damage. But they made this idol, Natural Wrath or whatever, that you can, you know, convert Upheaval and Earthquake to lightning, And I'm not sure how this is going to work out. Like, I don't know if you want to go aftershocks or if you just want to do the initial slam. I'm not sure how this is going to work out since it converts everything. But since we have 2 lightning skills that are melee now, we can scale not only our basic attack, but we can also scale Earthquake as EQ, as lightning melee, and then also upheaval as lightning melee. So we get 2 skills, a little bit more clear because now upheaval got buffed and also gets procced on every hit for avalanche whenever we proc it. And now that all these are melee skills, it will allow us to hit this proc a lot more. So this is on any melee hit for your Scorpion. And now that we have 2 melee hits, 3 for EQ and then also upheaval, we can get more procs as well as more attack speed and hopefully proc it more, hit EQ more, and be able to like actually do a lot more damage. I don't know how this is going to work out on the melee side of things. And then we just spam Maelstrom in our downtime, or sorry, I guess whenever you get the Lagon stacks or whatever, just to get a little extra of, you know, flat melee necrotic damage from Julius. So this is kind of the idea I had. Not sure how it's going to go. And maybe you don't run, I don't know why I have this, the Erase Primalist. You could run Twisted here if you wanted, I believe. Since we are going like a region setup and everything. But yeah, I think this is kind of also self-explanatory. Our Primordial is +6 EQ because we can literally get like every more multiplier. And they did take away some, so probably best to do that. But yeah, this is kind of the idea I have. Just build attack speed, health regen, and go lightning. If it didn't work, I guess maybe the spell version might be ideal. And I could probably do this in my other builds that I have Tempest Strike in. There's some more tech that I'll show you in the next build, but this is kind of the gist of it. It's kind of funny how you can go Scorpion Shaman and just go melee crit. But yeah, the next one, Tsunami Scorp. Okay, yes. So I know everyone's been kind of like raving about this because of the whole tsunami buffs, dude. Kind of crazy, not gonna lie. And this setup is a little weird, but I did find some interesting things. I did find out that if you go Tempest Totem, you remove all the attacks, so that way the Tempest Totem just fires like a really, really fast attack, and you take the Lagonian Shamanism node. You can use, I don't know why this is here, but you can use Tempest Totems to spawn Gladiator of Lagon stacks, which is awesome because like usually you want to like sit there and just like melee, like melee and all this, which kind of sucks. You have to sit in melee range, but now we can just throw totems down. They will shoot the target, give us this buff. We get a little bit less. It's like instead of getting like 20 stacks, you get 15, 17, 18 sometimes, depending on the cast speed, which we're gonna get more cast speed. So, and I'm going cast speed on totems here just to get more stacks. Yeah, this is gonna be pretty nice, I think, even with the 30% chance. So, this is kind of the idea, and kind of the gist of this is you go Scorp, so you can get Maelstrom whenever it can get Maelstrom whenever you do. You get 2 more multis. You get this cold damage multi, and you get this hit damage multi, which I think is based off. I'm not sure if it's based off Frostbite. I'm not quite sure on if I have to take this node to convert or if this node, I have to test that one specifically. But either way, you'll get 2 multis, and you use Warcry to get some stacks. You hit crit from both these nodes. Let's go. And you know, maybe you want to go Totem. I don't know if I can sustain Totem. That's why I didn't take it. But maybe you want to go Totem. Go Frenzy Totem, obviously, and refresh our companion ability. I'll have to use the Scorp Nova or whatever it's called. The Nova, what is it called? I don't know. The Nova, we have to use the Nova ability because we need to essentially proc Aspect of Links to cap crit. And outside of that, you're just gonna be spamming Maelstrom. So in your downtime, like Maelstrom has a duration. You'll take you'll take the mana efficiency here. You'll have all the more multis in this tree. And I was testing it. I got to, I think, like anywhere from 30 to 40 stacks of Maelstrom with just casting and off casting Warcry. I could maintain my Ligonian stacks or Gladiator stacks. And so I go Clear Solution with Mad Alchemist Ladle, and Sack Strength, Intelligence. And I go Low Life. I go Low Life for this build because I convert Attunement to Apathy. So hopefully I still get the Attunement bonus here. And then, as well as that, I will I'll get like a bunch of mana regen from going Apathy. And since I think the downside's like current health lost per, or like it's like 2% per point per cast of a skill. I don't care since I'm a low life. And yeah. So I'll just stay low, really low life. I'll have a bunch of cast speed. And hopefully have a bunch of mana regen to offset it with, you know, some mana regen affixes here and there. And maybe I have to sacrifice a little strength here and there to get some more mana regen. I'm not sure. But when I tested it, it seemed like it was pretty good. And, you know, maybe I don't cast for a while. I'm at 30 stacks. And I just regen my mana. So I'm not too worried about that, but we get a pretty good healthy health pool that we can get enough ward from. We have good ward retention due to, intelligence. Good stats all around, so we can go red rings. And yeah, this is kind of the idea I have. And the tech with Tempest Strike is nice. But yeah, I think that is it for Primal builds. I don't think there's any surprises here. Next build is Golem. Let's go. So Golem, I'm not sure if this is what I'm gonna start. I'm in between this build, like just starting this build and another get to. First planer, solo Golem. Pretty simple. We're going Pyre Golem. Essentially here, I'm getting this node. I'm not sure how this node works. I want to test it. A lot of stuff I want to test with Pyre Golem, so that's why I want to mess with it. We'll give it a portion of our health regen. We'll take this node. We'll take all the more multis, all the flat damage that we can. That's fire. I'm going this staff because it gives me less damage. Int, fire res. I don't know. It's a good staff. I could also go scales, but it's a lot harder to hit 2 flat damage rolls on. So maybe taking this, going +6 to get enough points. That's my primordial. Then we're going health regen pretty much in every slot. Just get a fat health regen pool because we're going vessel and going vitality. AOD wake, so we can get fire. We'll get more fire damage from this, and a little bit of ignite. Keeping Dreadshade not as solo because I also want to have armor from all this vitality. So please don't kill my vibe. And I guess the tech here, the tech for this. See, I always have tech, guys. I've always got tech. The tech for this is Doombrand. I put this on my Golem, Doombrand, and then I just summon skeletons whenever I need this buff. Doombrand will kill my skeletons, hopefully fast enough. And I think it does it's like health decay, so it kills them pretty fast. To give me ward, give me mana. If I need it, I guess I will because I'm summoning these. But essentially, it'll be like more of a self-sustaining kind of situation, and I won't have to worry too much about just constantly being like, oh, I need to make sure I kill skeletons. Am I in the vicinity of my bone golem? No, it'll just go into my bone golem, follow wherever he goes, and then die in the vicinity of bone golem. That's the idea. And then we just go vitality everywhere on all these. I'm not sure what the best idle layout is yet. I threw one that looked good. Like it doesn't even, the base didn't even do anything for me, right? But I threw it in there, it looks good. I get more vitality, get more regen. Beautiful. My golem shares the regen. Amazing. And yeah, I don't know if there's anything else that's in here that's like interesting at all. But yeah. I think that's it. Oh yeah, I need this for the int so I can get a little bit more fire pin. But yeah, I also have the same. Instead of going solo, you just go army. Swap it up. For this, we have to do a little bit of a different setup. I don't know why I summoned Skeletons here. I need to swap this to Skeletal Mage. But essentially, instead of doing Skeletons, you use A-Bomb to sack your Skeletal Mage. So put it where he doesn't kill golems, doesn't absorb summon skeletons, and gives your attack speed aura. Maybe that's nice. I have no idea. Doubtful. But essentially, we just do it for devouring, and then we sack our mages. Summon them, sack them whenever we need them. You could potentially do race, or sorry, you can't do race. I'm not thinking straight. But sack your summon skeletons, and it allows us to feel a lot easier than having to worry about anything else. So I'm actually stupid. This didn't work. I don't know what I was thinking. Oh, no, I lied. This was right. I'm sorry. We spec summon skeletons, but we don't spec Skeletal Mage. that's what happened. Okay. Spec summon skeletons so we can get max bone golems. We use summon Skeletal Mage. A-Bomb sacks them. That's how we get our damage for our bone golems. So a little bit more work involved for the army, but you get, what is it? 3 + 3 max. You get 4 golems, all which can pop the aura, all which have the same multis, all which have the same damage that you're getting on the single. We just lose benefit from this node, I think, and that's it. And it's a little bit more upkeep for the army. But really easy to go from solo to army, try it out, and then just go back to solo if you didn't want to, deal with the whole stuff. The whole thing here. I don't think there's anything else changed in here. Obviously, we don't do the Doom brand setup because it doesn't really work. And we miss out on transplant. Maybe there's some other setup that's a little bit more automated for Bone Golem, but I feel like this node's always going to take some work, and who knows if it's worth, right? Or Pyre Golem. And I made a Blood Golem setup. I went cold just because you can get a lot of flat, and as this stands, there's a lot more. I can't look at the skill, but there's a lot more damage effectiveness on this skill now. I think it's like 300% per hit, and it does 6 hits every 2 seconds on cast, or over 2 seconds on cast. So it's 1800%. I can't talk. 1800% damage effectiveness over the whole duration of the skill. So if you get enough cooldown recovery speed, you can hopefully like just pump out with an army. But the quality of life on this Sanguine Orb is like pretty terrible. It's god awful in my opinion. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it'll miss targets, miss packs, and then like not hit them. Because it just like overshoots, and the golem will like shoot from max distance so that it doesn't hit until it reaches the pack, which by then it's already like exhausted half the hits. So I don't know how this is going to be, but I made it. Maybe it's good, who knows. And yeah, you take this node, you could, if you summon your golems from 0 golems, 1 golem will get this % more damage. I just don't do it in the other setup just because I think there's better options. But yeah, you just do the Infernal Shade setup, throw this on, bada bing, bada boom. Summon some zombies, maybe hit to get the other multi here to you. Go cold on everything. You end up with like a good, pretty good amount of cold % damage, cold flat, and you can scale all of it without having to worry. You get a lot of, it's a high damage effectiveness skill, so maybe there's a setup where you do the T-Rex or something and go fizz, but not something I planned out. But yeah, less of an overhead on this one as well. You just play it, so it's kind of like solo. They just kind of cast themselves, and you hope for the best. I don't know if there's any other interesting stuff in here other than that, but yeah. Oh, and if you don't want to, obviously you don't want to snapshot, you can just take this off your bar and just run Infernal Shade. But yeah, that is it for Golem. Don't know if I'm gonna start Pyre Golem or not. I want to, but I'm hesitant because of the changes, and I'm fearful. Okay, but it is nice because you just do get like so much like out of it. You know, like you get. It's just nice. I don't know, and it's an easy build. I just walk. I don't have to do anything. Hopefully, summon some skeleton every once in a while. Whatever. Oh lord. The next set of planners are bees. There's so many planners. There's not. I'm not gonna go over all these. I don't know how bees is gonna be, especially on Necro. Not sure. Could be fun to mess with towards the end of the season or like end of the first build I do. But Necro can get a lot of flat, a lot of multipliers, and yeah, we can just summon bees via potion use. Get potion consume, not or chance to not consume a potion on idols. Scale that up, and summon bees that way. This is kind of the setup for non-snapshotting if you want. This is a crit setup where you go cold, obviously. You could even, instead of taking the actual set item, you do lose levels and stuff. You'd have to figure it out, but you could do like a T7 or T7 or T8 even if you want to lose this with a slam on the. Oh, actually, you can't run double sets, but there's probably another set thing that you can do. You could just run a T7, I guess, of the cold damage. I don't know. With a snapshot, you can do that pretty easy. Okay, a snapshot you can run T8. All right. So if you want to snapshot, if you want to abuse the game, you can. But yeah, there's crit bees. This is just focused mostly on the bees that you can summon. They're invulnerable for 4 seconds. Damage, I don't know. Don't look too well. Bleed might be a little bit better in terms of damage with the scaling and everything that you have available to you. Run Bone Curse. Can get more bleed here. More bleed here. Yeah, and then I have Golem as a shade holder, and then I run regen for most of these, I believe, where he just gets a portion of my regen, holds onto the shade, and then yeah, I can direct with Rip Blood if I snapshot, whatever. But yeah, bleed setup's a little bit different. You just run the full sets here. You can, instead of running the T8 here, you can run the T8 on the bleed chance. Go regen where you can, get attributes, yada yada. We're doing it on potion consume once again. And then obviously you could probably get the B per 10 seconds on the idols. I just don't know how rare all that's going to be, so I didn't include it in this version. I did a version with the relic. It goes block, strength stacking, still regen, and then we just get a little bit more pin for the bleed. A little bit different of a setup. Oh, and this is where I got the T8 here. A little bit different of the setup, and I think this one does a little bit more damage if you want to do that, just because you get a lot more pin for the bleed. But still, I think bleed, or like bees in general, are kind of lackluster, maybe, just in general. I'm not sure how people are going to build bees. I'm kind of going to wait and see. I have a poison setup. We just have setups for everything, okay? Damned and Ignite setup. These things are very, very small changes across all of them. Queen Bee spell crit setup, where you just go like cooldown recovery and build the flat damage and kind of like capitalize on the what is it, like 750% effectiveness? I think it's right here. 750% effectiveness of added damage. Oops, wrong one. Don't think that's going to be that great either, but who knows? Maybe it's good. And the melee crit, if you're feeling that. So there's a lot of blueprints here that you can use, and maybe one of them's good. I'm kind of doubtful. I don't know. I don't know about bees. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe someone out there is bold enough to try, and I believe in you. Oh yeah, if resist seem a little bit low, I think it's because of this node not counting. There's a couple nodes in on max roll in the passive tree that just don't count on the actual stats shown here. So usually I think everything's accounted for. There might be maybe a mistake or two. I did make 8 planners for bees, so who knows? And I've gotten very little sleep. Okay, very little sleep. Okay, I don't know what this is. Oh, I know what this is. This planner, I don't know what that is. This planner needs to go away. Okay. Now this is also some tech that I I discovered while I was messing with planners. So I did a crit Hungering Souls Mage setup with bees. You're like, with bees, what does that mean? So it's kind of the same setup where going crit Hungering Souls. I'm doing all the stuff I was doing before, grabbing all the more multis, going mana. I get a little bit less mana because of certain choices here. But we still go crit, blah blah blah. And this is mostly focused on the Hungering Souls portion. Not so much the mortar. It just as a consequence of what happens because I have to grab this for cooldown recovery speed. Still mostly fire. You can still add if you wanted a snapshot or whatever, you could still add that. The Lich Scorn, you can do that everywhere. So with bees, we can get a bunch of regen from summoning our bees, and it takes our chest slot, and we can get a bunch of bees summoned on potion use, which takes our belt slot because we need the jungle queens, and we want the bees havocs, and we only need the bees to be vulnerable for 4 seconds, so we lose our catalyst as well. So we have these 3 that are used just solely for the bees. They're added to our arsenal. We get things that scale off bees like this. Okay, I didn't realize there wasn't anything else that I took that didn't scale off bees at this moment. But those 2 things, and then obviously we're just going cooldown as much as possible. And then this is where I started putting the bees on idle stuff because I don't know. Okay. I was like, why is that not purple? But anyways, yeah, I think bees all over here would be great because you just get like a flat amount of regen. You'll have a certain number of bees out. They'll just be casually there. And then whenever you need burst, you spam bees. Why would bees give you burst? Because in Hungering Souls, there is an uncapped node, Necromantic Emanation. And with this, we can get 6% damage per bee. All right. And I tested this, okay? I tested it versus like just using Bone Prison, getting 20 minions. I wanted to see if it had like a pseudo 20 cap or whatever in the current game. I don't know about the next season, but in the current game, does not have a pseudo cap. This is you can spam bees, as many minions as possible, and get 6% more damage per minion. So that is why I went bees, and I have this set up. This is also a contender for a starter. Is going Hungering Souls Mage, and then transitioning to this bee setup where I get regen and more damage from my bees. This can be done on anything. You just lose these 3 slots. So if these 3 slots are not that important, you're in there like swimwear. And then also if you want to maximize the cooldown, then you can do that as well. Maximize that and get a pretty low cooldown. I forget what the cooldown is on this. I think it's a pretty good amount with all these, and we also have the chance to not consume. So even more potential for bees for burst. But yeah, that is a contender. So we have Pyre Golem and crit Hungering Souls Mage with bees. Last. This is also a top contender for a starter. The last setup we have is Blood Spectres. So Blood Spectres got a pretty crazy buff with all these nodes getting, I guess, bug fixed. Now they work. And yeah, I don't know if the Symbol Abomination will be bug fixed. So we don't take the chaining. I don't maybe he kills himself every once in a while. I don't care. Whatever, as long as I can just get my 13 Blood Spectres out. This one's nice. Also a top contender for a starter, just because it is so nice. Like block, health, regen, a little bit of everything. Good amount of armor, get a bunch of damage. You can go tyrants. I don't know. That seems like a pretty good build. And then you have A-Bomb here, which is like, if your Blood Spectre's ever down, you just have an A-Bomb that's going to do damage, because it always does damage. It won't do as much damage as like going into A-Bomb, but you have an A-Bomb. But yeah, Blood Spectres, it's bleed and fizz crit, because you just get free bleed, and it's really easy to get like this more damage here and get more bleed chance and get it out of our passives because we don't really need anything else. And you also get, you know, a little bit more scaling heal here from Vitality. Really easy to set up. I feel like this would be like a really good build to go. And this is kind of what I do with it. I also get this region here. I don't think this, yeah, but the region number here is not accurate because we get region from this node, region from this, and maybe region from something else. I'm not completely sure. The only issue is crit is hard to like cap, but that's why I want this so I could go these crit idols and maybe I lose. You know, maybe I roll like another Omen idol or whatever. I can get a little bit more. Yeah, this is looking like a promising contender here as well. With a healthy amount of defense. Cap lock, everything. Beautiful. But yeah, I think that is it for all the builds that I have and the planners that I have for Season 4. That was probably a long-ass video. I'm sorry. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed seeing me on camera this time on my video. I don't ever get on camera, but I have this set up to do it. I just never do. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions, any other ideas you have that you know, maybe took some of my tech. Maybe you have more tech that I don't know about that I could use in my builds. Please let me know. And let me know what you're starting in Season 4. Hopefully it's a good one. And hopefully I figure out what star I'm going to do by Friday. I got a couple days. So we'll see what happens. And good luck, everybody. Have a good season start. Thanks. Peace.